How are you guys?
Yeah, we're good, thank you. We're
Fantastic.
fantastic. How are you?
Fine, fine. It's really a pleasure to speak to you. Perhaps my first question will be about something you did in January. You did some new experience. I don't see you.
Oh,
Some new experience. Do you see me? Do you hear me?
I
We
can't
can't.
see it. 1 second.
We're just gonna reset the camera.
Yes, there is a. I don't see your face. There's something special. What just happened? Just
There we
yeah.
go. Should have come back now.
We can't see
All
you
right.
though, Pascal.
Yeah, great. So we just be speaking about this new experience you did. It's a virtual tour. So some bands did one virtual show. You did a tour between the 8th and 33 January of this year. So it's really soon. You did this tour. How was it, and how was this special experience? Because I suppose there are no bodies to see you.
Yeah, of course. It was great. Um, it was really great. I mean, with this kind of thing, a virtual tour has pros and cons, really. I mean, the pros are that with a virtual tour like this and technology these days, we can reach as many people as possible. The people we can reach out to is infinite because technology is so widespread these days and so accessible. Everybody can get on the internet, and everybody can watch the live stream. I mean, that's amazing. Um, I mean, but for us, the main thing is the main difficulty of the live stream is, this moment in time in the world where the world seems to exist and has stopped. We're all missing human connection more than ever. Um, and with this live stream, obviously, we're not in the same room as people. The human connection is not there, and it's something that's lagging. However, we wanted to give something back to our fans because we didn't want to show that we were just not going to do anything due to the coronavirus pandemic. I mean, it stopped a lot of things and stopped people literally in the tracks. However, we're a band that doesn't roll over and just and play dead.
Mhm.
We wanted to continue to make music. We wanted to show people that we weren't going anywhere, and that after this is finished, we will still be here. And it was just our way of giving something back to the people who support our band and the people who are just starting to join the ride, and people who are discovering us. It's a nice way for people to discover us, and it's a nice way to give something to the fans that already support us. We wanted to maintain that human connection some way,
Mhm.
and we thought through a virtual tour this would be the way to do it.
Yeah, it was a great idea because finally the only solution to do something on stage in these days. Uh, how could you finally describe the band on stage when you are faces public, when you're in real condition?
What's it like on stage for us when we're playing?
We're
Yeah,
Oh,
how
sort of
are
like
you?
an uncaged animal. Like we're all sort of fairly unassuming people, but the moment we get on stage and the instruments are on, that sort of the doors are open and the animal's unleashed. It's more just raw energy.
I mean, we like to we like to present a show to the people who come to watch us. What you see is what you get. We're a rock and roll band, and passion comes through us and flows out to the audience. And hopefully, you guys that are watching that absorb that energy and absorb that passion and give it back. Um, yeah, on stage together is there's no place that we'd rather be. It's where we feel we're at our best. It's where we feel we're at our peak. Um, and as Lewis says, it's a bit like an uncaged animal. You come to watch a rock and roll show. That's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get a rock and roll show. You're gonna go home with a smile on your face, very sweaty, um, and wanting to come back for a second time. Let's just say that.
what is for you finally a great show? I mean, when you come on stage, you are really happy and you feel very good, very right after the show.
I mean, it's hard to put your finger on that because
There's a lot of factors to line up, isn't there?
there is a lot of factors. I mean, if everybody's playing well, that's that's one thing. I mean, if you're all in sync and you're all really hitting your stride and everybody is really playing to the best ability that night, then everything kind of aligns and it falls in place itself. And there's no hard work that needs doing. Another factor towards that is sound, really, you know, that you've got a good sound on stage and that you're comfortable. Comfort is a factor in these shows, you know. But I mean, sometimes we play shows where we can't hear a single thing and we still have a great time. But I mean, truly satisfying shows is where everything aligns and just clicks and goes right. Everybody's playing right. The sound's great. It's a full house. Everybody's enjoying themselves. And there's no better feeling than that. Nothing top that really for me.
It can be just a factor of everything, as long as the day's lined up. Like, it even starts in getting in the van to go to the gigs. We are like a travelling gypsies or something. But it does sort of affect it. You get those golden gigs where there's no traffic. You get there, your sound check's great. Even if the crowd's not big, the crowd is just sort of energetic, and then we're all in the perfect mood, and it just all aligns together like the stars, I guess.
So finally, in France, we just discovered with this new album. It was your first album. You exist since 7 years, 8 years. You begin in 2013. It was you did an EP, The Price of Education, in 2015, and this is your first album. You wait a certain time to write this album. How was writing of this first album, this new album, and in which state of mind you write this album?
I think as a writer, this debut album feels almost like a lifetime of work, really, for me personally. It feels like every moment has really led up to this release of this record, really. And it was something that we really had to dig deep in, and the record deserved justice with the songwriting, and it needed to be right, and it needed to feel right. It needed to be put out and released on the platform as well. But I mean, it was a lengthy process. We wrote around, I think there was around 75 songs to start with that we had in our melting pot to pick for the record, which was then brought down to around 25 and then whittled down again to the 12 that you hear on the album, you know. So the track listing was not taken lightly. It was a very serious matter, and there was a lot of songs that went into this first debut album. So yeah, it was a very spiritual experience, almost, picking the songs for this record and writing the songs. I mean, the inspiration and the theme behind the album is many things, really. You know, we're from a small working class town in the northwest of England where there's not much to do. This record encapsulates what it's like being a young man growing up in a small town like this. It encapsulates growing up and in your 20s, you know, with sex, lust, passion, angst, escapism, all those things, and life experiences and people who inspire us and the stories that surround us. All these kind of things became factors in the ingredients that were put into the idea behind this first record. And once it came together and it clicked, and the writing process really took hold of us, it kind of fell into place, and it's kind of what you hear now in this debut record, which we're all very, very proud of.
Yeah, you tell me that you write 75 songs. It was huge, huge amounts of songs. Was it finally difficult to choose the right songs, the good songs that you will put on this new album?
Well, I mean, there always has to be an outside exterior person who's going to help with that. Our management is very hands-on with how we pick things, and you always need people to tell you if something's rubbish. You can't have someone who's a yes man telling you everything's great and blowing smoke up your backside, because then you're gonna create rubbish albums. Really, you need someone to tell you that this isn't good enough, or that's good enough, or this could maybe be better, or oh yeah, that's an absolutely great song. That's going to make the running straight away. With the click of a finger. So it was picked through ourselves, our management, our label. We all sat down. Obviously, the 75 songs were, like I say, an accumulation of what feels like a life's work for myself, writing wise, because some were just ideas, little seeds maybe of songs. They weren't necessarily all full songs. So I mean, that's a process we use in this band, and it's a process that we'll probably use for the rest of our career in this band, that we have a process of honesty, and it's the best way of working when you're choosing what's going to make a great record, really.
It was so after the writing, you record this album, of course. How do you work in the recording process? Do you work in a studio together, or do you work each at home and via internet and everything? How do you work? Or do you work live? Do you record like the bands of the 70s or the 80s?
So we're very much a live band. That is where we are at our best. It's where we feel we're at our peak and our most comfortable. So the record was created in a studio in London called The Pool. A local studio is The Pool, and it's a big open live space. And what you hear on the record is us as a band playing live, man. Like, that's us playing live over and over and over and over again. The raw elements of a rock and roll band playing, that's what you hear. Obviously, there is the overdubs that are needed. Obviously, like the vocals come on afterwards and the odd guitar parts and that kind of thing. But what you're hearing is these four guys in a recording studio on the floor playing live, the magic bouncing around the room and coming through to the desk. And that's what you're hearing. It's a live record. Yes, it's well produced. Yes, it's well mixed, well mastered. But the raw element of us playing live together is in that record. I mean, the title track "Fall In Fall Out" took us 9 hours to do, actually, on the piano. But they all took a long time. It's going back to the days when Elvis Presley used to do probably 56 takes and use the third take to capture that raw essence of what they wanted on the record. That's what we did with this record. We just played it over and over and over again to pick the right take we thought was best, well, which the producer thought was the right take. So what you're hearing is us playing live, really.
What was finally the challenge when you record this album? And is there a challenge? I suppose there are perhaps some songs who are really a challenge to record, to work on it in studio. Do you have some songs who have been a challenge to record?
Yeah, well, as I say, the title track "Fall In Fall Out," which is the ballad on the record, took us 9 hours to create, because it's such a delicate song and it needed to be right, needed to be perfect. No room for any errors, no room for any mistakes. But I mean, when you play with that intensity and you're playing with that fierceness to go again and again and again and again, you're making yourself better musicians, and you're making yourself stronger as a band. And that's what comes out of these kind of things. It's all a positive process, and you know, what comes out of it is the end result of what you hear, you know. Obviously it was difficult some days doesn't go the way you want, you know, and some days you're struggling to be as tight as you were the day before, or you come in with fresh ears and you find out that the track's probably too slow or too fast. You need to do it again. But that's just part of the recording process, and that's all part of the fun, really. You know, you've got to take the rough with the smooth and just enjoy every minute of it.
So do you have finally where you record really like the bands in the 70s record? You do more and more takes to get the best takes, to get the where the feeling is great, and your interpretation is really come from the out. Do you think that finally you are a little unique, because there are so many bands who don't record like that now, and just do they work with a Pro Tool and every system we know. Do you have the impression to be unique, or do you know some other bands who are like you?
That's a great question.
I don't think it's so much as a uniqueness. It's more, we know where our strengths are. Like, as a unit, we feed off each other. So 4 of us playing at the same time, there's a difference in how each of us play compared to when we'll be sat on our own. I mean, there'll be some parts with guitar parts and stuff like that, or vocal parts, where it needs us sort of free minds as well. As I say, if it was one of my guitar parts, it sort of helps to be able to be playing it while I've got the other 3 lads there, so we can sort of discuss the parts and work together rather than going back and listening to a whole take to be able to do it. But I think the Pro Tool side, as much as I think a lot of people perceive it as laziness, but I think it's just people have gotten creative in different ways. I suppose rather than unique, we're just more sort of old school.
I think as well, I think we've tried techniques of recording, and we've tried tracking, we've tried solo recording, and it just does not sound like us. It doesn't sound like what the band's about. As I say, we're very much a live band, and the magic in this band is when we're in a room together playing. The magic isn't when we're separate in different rooms doing one instrument and then the next instrument and then the next instrument. And I mean, yeah, that is kind of the easy way for me, you know, that's the easy way out. But we realise that we sound best when we're playing together in a room and the sparks are flying, you know. That's where we are absolutely at our best. And we've been told that, you know, we've been told that by people. People have heard us, what we sound like when we tracked and what we'd sound like when we play live. And we could track one song and then record the same song live, and I guarantee they'd sound completely different. And it's just like Lewis says, you know, identifying your strengths within the studio and seeing how far you can push yourself, really. So, I mean, yeah, I suppose unique can be used, but I guess there are other bands out there that do record like that, because I find it will be personal preference to how you play as a musician.
The mixing was done with you work with Tarek Musa, who worked with some bands like Circa White, The Big Moon. He did the mixing. What kind of sound do you wait from him? And do you have a sound in your head that you want for this band and for this first album? Was also very important, the first one.
Yeah, I mean, with Tarek's a great mixer, great producer. He's got fantastic ears, and his approach of our style is aggressive and very attacking, and that suits us because we're playing hard and fast on the floor. So the mixture of them both is something that marry quite well together. So it was intriguing to see what we got back. And yeah, we loved it straight from the off. It sounded great. We're really happy with it. And yeah, so we trusted him, and that's the main thing when you've got someone mixing your record. You've got to have that element of trust. And yeah, we trust him. That's the main thing. We trusted that it'd sound good, and it sounds all right, doesn't it?
Finally, it was really your first recording, important recording. I mean, in studio, you record before, but this one is very important. What do you learn in this experience when you record this album?
I mean, it was quite a soul-searching experience recording this first debut album. As I say, for me, very emotional. It felt like a life's work almost, accumulating to this point, which is a bit crazy when you think about it. It's almost mind-blowing. It's like, wow, what next? But I mean, just write another record, that's what's next. Yeah, it was a very soul-searching experience. It made us better musicians, better writers, more confident in the studio, and just all-round positive vibes, man, I suppose. And yeah, something that I'll never forget, that we will never forget, almost certainly.
So finally, on all these tracks, you choose the first songs. You choose as the first single. It was "Feel It." Why do you choose specially these songs to represent this album? Really, this is the first song that people will discover on this album. Was it a challenge to choose the songs, and why do you choose this one finally?
It's hard to pick, really. I mean, out of the record, because we try and sort of show the two sides to the band, because on the album we've got sort of aggressive songs like "Bury Me," and then the more ballad songs like "Fall In Fall Out," the title track. I think "Feel It" as a track sort of sums up the band nicely, that it shows the palette we can do. It's quite a heavy and a rock song, but there's still a dance and a groove to it. We want to show people that we're not just sort of like a one-trick pony, and that was one of the songs that sort of dances around each of them and gives us the best idea.
I think also it's very catchy as well, and I think it gets stuck in people's head, and I think that's the key to a good single. Make you want to sing along and put it on again.
There is also another song. It's called "Kick in the Teeth," and there is a special dedication to the Elvis lady from Winsford. What is the story about this lady? When I read the Elvis lady, we want to know her.
Fantastic.
What is the story about this song?
Elvis lady is a lady called Nina, and she lives in our town, and she is Elvis Presley obsessed. I don't think obsessed even comes near it. Like, she's an Elvis Presley fanatic, and she has a medical condition which impairs her walking, really. So she has a mobility scooter, but her mobility scooter is got pictures of Elvis all over it, and it's got speakers built into it, and she presses a button and it plays Elvis music, whatever you want. It's like a jukebox in a mobility scooter. And it's just a nod to Nina that she makes everybody smile, even when you feel like you're stuck in the middle of nowhere and there's nothing to do. She makes you smile, and it was just a little nod to Nina to say thank you, really. I'm going to tell her that you were asking about her.
Thank you, Nina.
I'll send you love.
You tell me just about we spoke about the first single and these new songs too. Feel It. What are the Feel It? What is what are about the lyrics in this title? And what do you want to speak in your lyrics? What do you what inspire you to write songs in lyrics?
Feel It is about making mistakes. I'm realizing that we've made mistakes and making ourselves better people for it. You know, we all make mistakes, and we've all been in that situation where we've done something and thought, oh, I should have done that. But it's about learning from that mistake, and that's what it's about. It's about self-reflection. That song is maybe about me personally self-reflecting. I don't know. But in my lyrics, I'm inspired by experiences and life experience and the people that surround us and the stories that make us who we are and that surround us. Yeah, I wear my heart on my sleeve. I'm not frightened to write about how I feel. And yeah, it's something that I hope people can connect with, and people can feel something in what I'm saying, and they can connect to it too. You know, I think that's the beauty of music. Everyone can interpret their own way, and I think that's great.
So just about the title of the album, it's called Fall In, Fall Out. What is it's also your new single. What is the idea behind this title of the first album? I suppose it was important to choose the title of an album.
Yeah, of course. Fall In, Fall Out is named after one of the tracks on the record. Okay. It's named after one of the tracks on the record. But Fall In, Fall Out is basically like the process we go through in life. We fall in and fall out. Fall in and fall out of love, fall out of passion with things, falling out of anger, you know, all these things that make us human. And that's what the title really means, to be honest. That's what it means to fall in and fall out of anything through our experience in life.
Is it the end? Or can I ask you some more questions?
I'm afraid we've got another call that's trying to come through, Pascal.
Okay, just so we just finish about the cover, because the cover is quite fresh. It's really I have the impression to come back in the 60s, you know, when I see this cover. What was the idea? What do you want to show finally with this cover? Is it very important, the cover too? The first thing that we discover about the band is this cover. What was the idea? Are you from where came this idea to the 60s and this passion to the 60s?
It's sort of like you say, it's because we're very much old school rock and roll fans and everything like that. We wanted a cover that sort of harkened back to sort of the glory days, for lack of a better term for it. Days when bands like the Beatles and the Stones and sort of the British invasion around the world, we sort of wanted to harken back to that more than anything.
Yes, I see that you put on your Facebook a lot of pictures of John Lennon. Is it a guy very important for you, John Lennon?
For me personally, yeah, John Lennon's a big part of my life, a massive inspiration, a massive idol to me, and I've always been a big Beatles fan and an even bigger John Lennon fan. So yeah, so it's he holds a dear place in my heart.
So thank you very much for the interview. If you have something more to say about the band, about this new album, it's the first time we discover you in France. What do you want to say? Would you like to say?
Well, I'd like to say I hope you guys enjoy the record. I hope that, you know, it becomes your favorite new record and become your favorite new band. But hold on to some hope and some faith, and live music will resume, and we will be over soon to play for you guys as soon as possible as the pandemic is over, and we can't wait to see you at a venue very soon.
And play it loud.
Thank you very much. I hope really to see you in Paris. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup pour votre temps. À la prochaine.
À la prochaine. Bye bye. Merci.
Bye.